Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. That's the Bell of Purpose on top of things today. Welcome to Thursday's episode edition of Bathrobe Moments. I'm Lauren Michaels Harris, and I am so happy to be here with you. If you're still out on the front porch, I don't know what you're waiting for. Take your shoes off, come on in, and let's get started. What a great day it is here already. The sun is out here in lovely Naperville, Illinois, and I'm looking forward to maybe getting a bike ride in today. I have a little more time on my hands today. So I went back to my physical therapist yesterday. Really interesting how they're doing it with the quarantining and the stay in place and all that. Um, just two people at a time, you and a therapist. Um, so it felt good. It was good. I felt safer, but I was able to get the things done that you couldn't do over the computer screen. You can't work on the tissue in my leg, and I am not trying to. I have this new knee, and as soon as we're able to, get back together and close and stuff, I plan on dancing a jig with each and every one of you. So there's that. Help me welcome to the show. You remember her? She's been here for 4 seasons. Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo. She's doing fine today. Oh, I'm drinking something else. It's some kind of waffle coffee. That's what, again, it says it on the bag. It kind of smells like waffles, just tastes like coffee. So, still drinking on the coffees from my Christmas stocking, believe it or not. I have one more to go after this bag, and I think it said peppermint stick. That's why I made it last, because I have an open bag of something. Talk about the worst god awful flavor of coffee. What were they thinking? Warm apple cider. Why? Who wants their coffee to taste like warm apple cider? It just doesn't go together. It's like having red wine flavored buttermilk. It just doesn't work. So anyway, it'll be in there. I'll give that to somebody that comes and stays over, like the in-laws. I'll give that to them, pawn it off on them. So there it is. That bell you hear is also something new this season, season 4 here on Bathroom Moments. What this means is when I ring this bell, you're gonna see this pop up on the screen. Let's show our guests some love, hit those hearts. This is your opportunity, especially now, to you don't have to quarantine from good deeds, okay? Get closer. Self distance getting closer in reverse. This is the time you can become a part of something greater than yourself. What this means is when our guest says something that you can get behind that makes sense to you, you know how you say, "Ooh, if he likes it, I love it." That's when I'm going to ring the bell. That's when you can invite people. Hit the invite button, start a watch party, share it, whatever it is. It means that something really good is going on over here, and I don't want you to miss it because I care about you. Now, today's show, I brought Mark Haddis in, and some of you may remember him. I'm going to get to his bio here in a minute. Oh, but first, let me take care of the business so I don't get put out of business. We are streaming live, so bear with us if there's some tech difficulties or anything. Just remember, we're live, so don't cuss on the screen. I don't want to get censored. We are streaming live, though, across Facebook, YouTube, Roku, Android, Apple TV, Periscope, and of course from our home base, which is E360 Television Live out in Phoenix, Arizona. Our sponsor this week is none other than Symposium.us. You can see it along the bottom there, scrolling along in the ticker tape section. This is where conversation becomes currency. Simply get over to Symposium.us, download their app, and especially now, if you're looking for an additional stream or two of income, you could host anything that you're good at. If it's vision boarding, if you want to tutor kids, if you want to have story time, whatever it is, a mastermind, a master class, you can even have an event right there going out to as many as up to 5,000 people right on symposium.us. I've used them for almost 4 years now, and I love Troy Rokes and his group of geniuses over at symposium.us. Again, where conversation becomes currency. Ringing the bell on that. We can all use some currency. Yesterday was April 1st. I know a lot of people have been struggling with how they're going to pay their bills, how they were going to pay their mortgage, their rent. Yes, these checks that we've been promised will come eventually. But what about now? What about as the days tick by when you're feeling like, okay, I could handle this last week. It's a little bit tougher this week. Have you seen when you go for your walk or your bike ride a change in eye contact, less and less? Are you feeling like I just have a hard time smiling, not only on the outside, but on the inside. I really believe that it's time to begin thinking about what it's going to look like once we get to the other side of this, once we get past this 1 month. If it's 1 month, 6 months, 1 year from now, we will be on the other side. Are we going to be a better race? Are we going to live as a better nation? We are currently, unfortunately, living in an ultra divided world. And it's time, one of the things we can be doing is concentrating on ourselves, on our mind. I want to show you something. Um, and then when I bring you back in, when I come back in, I'll have Mark Haddis ready. I'll read his bio. But here is, we're going to talk about optimal being today for individuals. And this is something that's going to help a lot of people uh, just deal, cope, coping. Okay. Let's take a look at some people who have experienced optimal being. Okay, here we go.
I would suggest this program to anyone.
I feel like I have the tools to be happy for the duration of my life. When I began, I felt, well, I was physically broken, but I felt spiritually broken. I'm just much more free and happy now. And the experience I had with the other people, with you and with Rex in this program, has been foundationally transformative for me in every aspect.
I just had a verbal exchange with my son. It was a misunderstanding on his part and my part. Now, I would have probably been upset before, but it was like, it's okay. And I just laughed for several minutes, where in the past I would have been stewing.
I feel comfortable, I feel confident, I feel safe and secure. I was experiencing a lot of chaos in my world, a lot of unknowns, a lot of fear. That has all shifted in a big way. I can look out and enjoy the world more and enjoy myself and my experience and my family and my children. It just feels better. I have a lot of fun even when I'm alone.
My life was chaotic, mindless. I was always reacting to external things. And now I'm equipped with the tools to recognize the difference between reacting and responding.
After you get off the call every single time, you really feel inspired every time. I was really in a space of wanting more and not knowing how to get there. Things that have changed for me, I feel more peaceful, I feel more relaxed, I'm feeling joyful, and being more comfortable in my body, of just taking the time I need to make decisions that I need to make and being present. That, I think, has been a big deal.
I see myself more positively, and I see the world more positively. And I'm seeing the serendipities, the things that acknowledge my being in a different state, these things that are chance encounters with the universe that pop up. I trust myself. That's a big one. I didn't trust myself as much before, and I do now. And I don't think people can do much in the world that's good without trusting themselves.
I knew I could trust you. I knew that I was with the right people. I really could not have guessed this, and it worked. It worked. And I think I was a tough case because I so thought I had it. And now I know and see the difference.
He's just come a long way, comparing him to what he was 3 months ago to now. There's light in him. So grateful for that light. He loves the people that he's gotten to know on Optimal Being. He felt like he received so much information and so much help, but he also feels like he was able to contribute and help other people. In his darkest of days, I thought it was just too dark, and it's, as a parent, it really scares you. And I don't have that fear. I have hope. He has hope, and he's going to classes. He's getting there on time, which is brand new in the last 3 months. And he's caring more, and he's getting his work done on his own. That's all great. That's all coming from the inside of him.
I just feel excited and hopeful for the first time in years. So thank you so much. And I love you guys so much. And this company is just a wonderful, wonderful thing. And I see it changing so many lives moving forward. And I cannot wait to witness that. So thank you guys.
Okay, that was pretty cool, right? And the reason I think that's so important, right now everything is about physical, 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 physical. And you can have the physical in place and get to the other side of this thing. That's what we all are after. But what about our mental health? Now, Mark Haddis is here today. He's been a part of my life pretty consistently over the last 4 years, and my life has only become better as a result of it. And so, this is another reason I brought him back today, because he is one of the most giving people, and he is an expert when it comes to your mental health, because he's worked through it, and we'll talk about that today. Mark, he serves people and organizations in being optimal in all areas of life. Mark carries the highest endorsement by the #1 ranked business conference in the world. And he's been called a teacher of the masters who is bringing in new truth and frequency right when human awareness can embrace its urgent upgrading. I can't think of a time more necessary for this type of mindset and thinking than right now, right? So there's the bell of purpose. Let's get some hearts up on the screen. Also going on, Mark is successful. He's a successful entrepreneur. He's overcome major mental illness and is sharing the massive gifts he has received to create programs and services for others in order to help them thrive as well. He's a certified extreme focus mental performance coach and optimal being certified executive mentor. He is also the author of Awakening the Optimal Top 1% in the World by coaches he has mentored. Mark co-founded the organizations behind journeysdream.org and also optimalbeing.live. And then there's beatitudespractice.com. We'll talk about all those. So right now, why don't we get him in here? Come on in. Mark, how are you?
Awesome. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
Good to be with you.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I lost track of you for about, I don't know, since I think we spoke around the holidays. I'm looking for my page. Yeah, around the holidays. And you've been pretty busy. You're always busy. So what do you think? First of all, how's your family and everybody? You guys doing well with the sheltering in place and all that we're dealing with right now?
Yeah, thank you. With 5 children, it's
Ooh.
we're having some new experiences. We've been playing cards and board games, and we're doing what we can do. But it's we're staying in place. We're staying quarantined.
So your college kids are home?
Well, my oldest is actually in Milwaukee in an apartment, and he's doing remote his last semester of senior year, and he's doing it from his apartment.
Already?
Yes, already.
I remember when you drove him.
I know.
Oh
and
my God.
I'm so proud of him. He's got a job lined up, as long as, God willing, the job's still there,
Sure.
in July.
Wow.
But yeah, real proud of him. He's doing really well.
Well, I'm really grateful to you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come here today, so you could share about the optimal being program and more importantly, the optimal being mindset. As I mentioned right before I brought you on, everybody's ultra sensitive right now, hypersensitive to their health, as we should be. But a lot of what they're saying is things that we should be doing all the time anyway. Germs didn't just show up with Corona. You know what I'm saying? Yes, we're being proactive, but it's a testament that when we need to do what we need to do for ourselves, we can do it. right? Now, what about the mental? The thing that stood out of one word I wrote down that really resonated with me out of all those testimonials we just heard on the Optimal Being web page was the guy who said hopeful. And the way his face and his voice, everything went up. Everything seemed. It really. I felt it. I felt the word hopeful in everything he did as he spoke the word. And I'm afraid that a lot of us, if we don't start thinking in this optimal being lane, that we will miss this hopefulness that we need to get to the other side because we're going to be something, we're going to be someone once we get to the other side of this. And I think this is a chance for all of us to be our best mental selves, our optimal being. There's the bell of purpose. So I'm just going to let you go with it. You can explain to people how you got to this juncture, this crossroads of your life, and tell us, how you got to creating this wonderful program that's obviously helping a lot of people, and how can it help us now with what we're dealing with?
Yeah, we've done other programs where I've given my whole background. I'll give a short version. After building and selling a tech company, I had gone through and, for all intents and purposes, insanity, and was in and out of the psych ward for a few years and told I wouldn't ever be able to get well. And I was very fortunate. I found phenomenal doctors and support. But the other thing is I found some tools that really worked, that really, really, really worked. And the core of those tools are what we use to support the Optimal Being program. And it's what we use to model it. And I used, I'm going to pause for just a minute here, Loren. I mean, there's a lot here, and the people who are watching, as you mentioned, I mean, it's real. The pain's real. The frustration's real. The fears are real.
Very much.
And one of the things that we decided as a team is that while we're here on the planet, the fact that these resources exist, it's really critical to share them. It's really critical to allow for people to have access to them.
Mm-hmm.
So we spent actually over $1 million in time and resources and testing and put them together. Meanwhile, over those years, I was getting well, better and better and better, stronger and stronger. And one of the things that I've seen happen with hundreds of people now, if not, several hundred people, is they get better, they get happier, they experience life in a different way. And it was really meaningful for me to see that video that you showed with the testimonials. And we have a few others. We've done this with business leaders. We bring it into organizations where their whole company can have access. And there's a principle that is foundational to it. And it's this: at the core of every human being is what we call the optimal being. At our core. And that optimal being, when we're listening to it, when we're tuned into it, is going to guide us to happiness and well-being. And it's a truth that we've seen play out again and again and again. And most of the work that we do, as people go through the program, they learn these tools, and what's happening is they're shedding anything that's in the way of that optimal being coming fully to life in them and through them.
Mm-hmm. So what's going on? I'm sure I wish I could be a fly on the wall with the Optimal Being crew. What are you guys watching? What are you feeling? What are you learning? I know it's different when, like, I was thinking when I was listening to each one of the testimonials that we saw coming into this interview, and I was thinking life was normal. So these were people speaking to But if you close your eyes and had not known that this wasn't yesterday, all the things they said fit what we're living right now. So I was like, okay, it's the same thing. People deal with this and feel this way even when there is no coronavirus. So it stands to reason in my mind that if it worked for them then, it can work for us now.
Yeah.
So what do you feel? I mean, let me ask you this. Let me just put it bluntly. Do you feel that there are a lot of people who, are moving through this thing, um, some in denial, some are masking their hidden fears, some are already standing on the precipice or the edge of the cliff, um, and they just don't know it? And what can we do? What do you guys suggest? What do people like you suggest? What are you thinking? What are you sharing with people, if you will, about how to, um, just on a daily basis, just like we wash our hands for 20 minutes, what can we be doing to make sure that we're safeguarding our mental health during this thing? Because you don't want to get to the other side and find out you open the front door and you've got 16,000 pods of PTSD sitting in your front yard.
Well, so I'll give everyone listening and watching a very practical step-by-step process that you can go through to answer your question.
Okay.
And I'll share with you, we have sessions every day. We are live with groups, that come together. And so we do this as groups where people come and they're asking questions. We're going through the process, supporting them, through the challenges. And I'll share that pretty consistently. The stress level is, I would say, very much on the surface. People's nerves are a little bit frayed at times. There are more arguments that people are having in their homes, because people aren't used to being in their homes with those people, the people that they love, all day long. Even if they're getting outside for some exercise, they're kind of cooped up in a way, and the stresses are building. It feels to me very much. I see on social media divisiveness. I see support and love, but I also see divisiveness, which is unusual. I don't spend a lot of time on social media, but when I was out there, it's like, well, wow, there's like a lot of pain there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was going to go into the process. You want me to do that?
Okay. Can I ask you something before we get into that?
Yeah.
It's writing on what you just said when you said there's a lot of pain. Do you think it's new because of what's going on, or has it always been there and someone just pulled the comforter off?
Yeah.
And there it was, and now people are being forced to face a lot of things about themselves, because a lot of us don't know how to spend quality time with ourselves, let alone the people closest to us. There are families that are in the same household, but they've been on devices for the last 5 years.
Well, it's pain that's there. And it's here's a great example. We were working with somebody just recently, and she's between states. So she lives in one state and she was working in another state. And on her way from the place she works to her home, she got quarantined.
Oh,
And
in between?
in the middle were her parents. So in the middle state, her parents lived. And so she went to her parents' house. And she's a full-grown adult, but all of the memories and behaviors that she had as a child in her childhood, there was a lot of pain, have come up. She's still there. She's still quarantined. And so it's almost like this person that she had hidden and pushed away and said, okay, now I'm good. Well, she's that person again, right? All those pains just kind of came flooding back up. And it was interesting because in using the tools that I'll share it was about 45 minutes or so, she was floating on air. And she was feeling so good, so centered, and recognized how those past behaviors, those past experiences, those pains, they needed to kind of be moved through. And so many people don't know how to do that. I'm going to share how to do that in just a minute. But if we allow those pains to actually come up and be moved through in a way that's constructive. On the other
Mhm.
side of it is comfort, is peace. So-
Right. Right. Because there are only so many seats at the table. And in order for something new to sit down, something old has got to get up. And that's how I look at it. And I think this is great timing. So I'm speaking right now to all of you out there that are here paying attention. Now's your chance. Now's your chance to do something for someone else, to become a part of something greater than yourself. Right now, start a watch party. Invite some people. Do what you need to do to let people know something's going on over here that they may just want to pay attention to. So right now, just take a moment because Mark's about to share some coping strategies and some things that we can do to become centered, more centered, or begin to be centered, because you can't expect tomorrow to feel like today, because tomorrow's tomorrow and today was today. um Next week will be different. Do we know what it holds? No, we can't see around the corner known as the future. So what we have to do is put things into place now, just in case, so that we're ready to be our best and our optimal self. So Mark, I'm ready when you are. You guys get those watch parties started, invite people, share it out, and become a part of something greater than yourself. Help somebody out. Okay, what you got, Mark?
All right, so let's talk about 3 strategies. And these 3 strategies are things to repeat. So these aren't like, hey, I'll do these once and then I'm all good. These are strategies to repeat, to integrate in your life, especially during this time, and they work consistently. So strategy, and by the way, as I share them, one of the things that everyone will notice is they're simple. They're easy. You can teach them to, a young child. So teach them to your kids, teach them to your friends and your neighbors, and, let them know, hey, there's some easy things that you can do. So the very first strategy is the breath. And we all hear a lot about the breath. There's yoga breath and meditative breath, and there's exercise and breathing. And what I'm talking about is a connected, conscious breath. And it sounds like this. And Loren, I'll invite you to do it with me.
Okay.
It will go in and out, right? Just before we hit the top of the in, we'll start the exhale. And right at the bottom of the exhale, we'll start the inhale. So it sounds like this. Do it with me.
Okay.
And keep it up while I talk, Loren. And you're going to notice that your body is going to relax. Your body's going to start to soften, right? So the reason this is so effective is as the physiology softens, the rigidness, the tightness, the stress starts to just move out of the body, and we can receive clear guidance. And the clear guidance could be go for a walk. It could be, hey, let's get everybody together and play a game. Let's, talk about a situation that happened. But by first going conscious to the breath, we start to retrain our brain. And our brains are wired to shut down the breath from when we're very, 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 very little. So in strategy 1, imagine when you were a child and you had a stressful moment, chances are your breath went very shallow.
Yes.
Or you even held your breath.
Right.
Well, when we do that, we lock down that energy. We lock down the emotions associated with that event. By consciously thinking about something or experiencing a trigger for something, for example, coronavirus, if we have concerns about social distancing, or if we're going for a walk and someone gives us a dirty look and walks, way over on the grass to get away from us, that might trigger rejection. That might trigger being alone, being isolated, right? And some of us don't deal that well with it. But if we can walk and recognize, they're doing that because they're experiencing some element of cautiousness and they're doing what's best for them, we can just breathe. We can say, oh, remember the breath. Go to the breath. Go to the breath. Go to the breath. So that's step 1. If you can just retrain the brain to do that, instead of automatically shutting down the breath, we automatically open the breath.
So you engage the breath.
Engage the breath.
And And Mark, I'm sure you get it because you have 5 kids. But I remember when I was little, and I was that kid. It could be, you know, they were out of Captain Crunch in the cereal aisle, and it was the end of the world to me. And my world would come like it was crashing down. And my mom would always say, I can still remember her rubbing my back and saying, "Just breathe, calm down, just breathe." And that because I'd be like, and so it's true. It is. I think that's why it's called the breath of life.
Well, it is, and it leads us into the second one. But you can't do
Okay.
step 2 here unless you do step 1.
So don't skip the breathing.
Don't skip the breathing, because if you try step 2 without step 1, you're going to be in a world of hurt.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so but step 2, it's one of the most powerful things I ever learned. Now, you're probably familiar with feelings, right? You felt those. Happy,
Once or
happy,
twice.
joy, mad, sad, anger, surprise,
Yes.
whatever it is. Many of us, as we were growing up, we didn't allow for ourselves to feel certain things. We might have been told, hey, there's nothing to be upset about. I can't tell you how many times I was told that. Stop that. There's nothing to be upset about. Like, what do I do with my upset then?
Right.
So as kids, we learn strategies to stuff that stuff. We push it away. We were like, well, when I'm angry, then I get spanked or I get, punished in some way,
Right.
So it's not okay and safe to feel anger. And if I'm afraid, someone says, well, there's nothing to be afraid about. Right. And it's like, oh, well, then what is this I'm feeling? And so we become confused in our brain. Our brain actually gets confused about feelings.
Right.
And sensations in our body. Well, what's all this tingling and this tension? So step 2 is actually to allow, while doing step 1, while breathing, to allow all the pains, the hurts, the shames, the guilts, the fears, the angers, the frustrations that are coming up to be there. It's to allow those emotions to actually surface. So if you're feeling a level of tension, to recognize that it's okay to feel it and to breathe. And while feeling it, some people can just breathe and feel it and they're okay. But sometimes a situation can happen that can be very overwhelming. And I'm gonna share something that Brain Gym teaches. I learned it from a program called Psych K, and it's called the whole brain posture. And it's where you cross your ankles. Try this, Loren. You cross your ankles.
They already were.
Okay, cool. So you cross your ankles left over right, and then you take your hands like this in front of you and cross your wrists and do right over left.
Oh, right over left. Okay.
You could do either, but for you, do right over left, and then turn your thumbs down. And then put your fingers together. And then just put them in your lap or tuck them up into your chest. And just sit in this posture, and everyone, at home, try this as well. And breathe, and try this. I allow my upset, and you can pick your emotion. I allow my upset to be experienced now. Try saying that.
I'm going to choose the word anxiety.
There you go.
Because there's a lot of that right now for all of us.
Bingo.
So okay.
So I allow my
anxiety
to be felt now.
To be felt now.
And now breathe, and you might keep your eyes open or closed, but I close my eyes just to really allow it to be felt. I allow my upset to be felt now. It's safe.
I have to have mine open because I don't trust it. I think it's sneaking up on me.
There you go. Yeah, and that's some fear. So I allow my fear to come up.
Allow my fear to come up and be experienced.
Yep, and breathe. And notice what's happening in your body. It's okay to let it be there. Now, while you're breathing through that, Loren, I'll explain what's happening. When we're in this posture, and again, you can teach a 3-year-old to sit like this if they're upset. It activates the corpus callosum, which connects the 2 hemispheres of the brain. And by doing that, if we were stuck at an emotional state where we weren't allowed to feel a certain way, or we're stuck in one hemisphere, So we're either all emotional and not rational, or we're all rational and we block the emotion. This reconnects and it allows for a whole brain to function. So all your faculties come back online after being offline.
Oh, I like that.
So the key is to allow, now you can name your emotion, just like you said, anxiety, and then we said fear. But watch this. Stay in the same posture and think of a situation where you were upset recently, where you felt maybe anxiety or fear, Loren. And let me know when you got it.
Oh, like an hour and 16 minutes ago. Yes.
Okay, great. So think about that situation and now say, I allow all the emotions about this situation to surface now.
I allow all the emotions regarding the situation to surface right now.
And breathe. Open your throat and breathe. Let that emotion move. There you go. And stay there in the breath, Loren, until there's a physical, mental, or emotional shift. Stay with it. It's safe to feel. And you'll feel it start to soften, right?
Mm-hmm.
So describe your experience as you're wrapping this up. Keep your breath moving.
It actually kind of feels like a paint strip. You know, at first it was like, let's say, hot pink at the top, the primary color. And then through the breathing, it starts to uh, change itself into a different shade, a lesser shade of the same color, a softer shade, not so glaringly neon light.
And if you stay with it, if you were to stay with us for a couple minutes or so, it'll continue to soften, and then stay with it for another 30 seconds. And then let me know when you feel like the shift is kind of finally completed. We'll just breathe and feel.
Yeah.
All right. And then uncross your legs and arms and put your fingertips together. And this helps the integration and keep the breath moving. And while you're allowing it to integrate, just kind of share how you perceive that same experience now. The experience from an hour and 16 minutes ago.
Well, right now I feel like, why worry about something I can't control? And everybody's in the same boat. Because I'm usually thinking I'm inside of a situation I've created
Okay.
for myself. But this isn't the case. This isn't why I'm feeling these things.
Right. And the reason we feel the things we feel is because we have energy in us, right, that might be resonated. So the situation resonated energy that was already in you. It's probably not the first time you felt anxious.
No.
Or fearful, right? So it's bringing that up from past. It's bringing the past up into our present, and it's triggered by the person or experience. It's never outside of us. If any of us ever feel like our pain and our emotion is because of somebody else, we're in error. Now we could all say, well, but so-and-so did something to me and so-and-so hurt me. Yes, but the pain is in you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you hang on to that pain, which is what a lot of people have done because they want to get revenge or they want to hold that person accountable, they want to make sure that person is to blame.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you might be directing that blame on yourself. And that's not constructive either. What is constructive is to allow for our pain to be there while we breathe and we get comforted. Right? You felt a comfort come over you and your perception changed.
Yes.
Which is step 3. Step 3 is this. Anything else you have to say on step 2, by the way?
Well, it just feels to me like it is finally granting ourselves permission to feel what we feel. Like when people will say to you, well, I don't know why you feel that way. You shouldn't be feeling that way. That wasn't my intention. But the point of the matter is, it doesn't. I don't care what your intentions were. Nonetheless, it still left me feeling, it's real. So I
Right.
get it. That's a key. That's a pivotal thing right there. Granting ourselves permission to own the feelings we feel. Because how can you get through them if you don't acknowledge them?
Right. And the responsibility is on us to also support us getting the support. So let's say someone does something and it triggers an upset in us. What we can do differently is we can say, Loren, when you said this, it triggered some pain in me. Would you support me? Right? It's not that you caused my pain.
Right.
But it triggered this pain that's already in me. It's already in me.
there.
Would you support me while I breathe and allow for this emotion to come up? And you would say, oh my gosh, yeah, Mark, I'd love to support you. What can I do? It's like, well, if you would just sit here and breathe with me, that would be great. And now you're sitting, breathing, supporting me. And I breathe and feel. And then we'll go to step 3 and you'll see how powerful this is.
Okay.
So many of us are very interested in being right. And we can see it all over the place.
Okay, you've been talking to Brian? Just kidding. I get it. You're right.
We're very interested in being right. And
Yes.
watch any social media argument, and you can see like we really want to be right.
Correct.
Because if we're right, then we are going to have our needs met, right? But God forbid if we're wrong, that could mean that all kinds of stuff that we had been believing could be wrong. And there's fear to that. Like, who am I if I'm not the beliefs that I have?
Right. Exactly.
So here's step 3. Step 3 is to let go of the need to be right. It's to allow for something to be different than the way we perceive it. It's to allow.
That's almost the equivalent of asking me to donate both of my kidneys.
Well, it's easier than you think.
Okay, that's encouraging. So repeat it verbatim again, so I can write it down.
So
Number 3.
Yeah. So I try this. Try saying this out loud. I cancel my need to be right.
I cancel my need to be right.
And breathe. Feel the emotions.
I'm feeling it.
It's okay. Yeah. Keep the breath moving because that can feel kind of panicky.
Yeah. That's really all I have, but okay.
All right. So by the way, here's the brilliance of it. So if someone's still like, well, I don't want to let go of that. When we let go of it being the way that we had to have it in order to feel safe, secure, confident, we open up to new information. We open up to the blind spots. We let go of the resistance to seeing what's actually there.
I like that.
So here's
opening up to the blind spots.
Here's an example. And you're just allowing for something to be what you want to move into a space where we just soften, right? We're softening from our position. So I've got my little coffee teacup here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if I say, oh my gosh, I'm so happy with my blue teacup. And you say, what are you talking about? That's not blue. What is that?
Tan.
All right.
Mauve.
So what you might guide me to is something like this. Say, Mark, would you be willing, just for the moment, you can always make it blue, but would you be willing to see that maybe your teacup's not blue? Would you be just open to that? And if I say no, then I'm walking around with my blue teacup that everyone else knows is a different color. But if I can soften, if I could say, okay, for the moment, even though I've known this to be blue my whole life, for the moment, I'll allow for me to suspend the thing that I thought was the thing, and I'll let go of attachment to it being the way that I needed it to be. And I'll say, okay, Loren, show me. And now you show me words associated with pictures, and you go through your process to show me that, hey, there's this color scheme we all agreed to. This is tan. And I'm like, oh, wow, you know what? You're right. I was wrong.
Mhm.
And that's another part of this, is to be willing to be wrong. That's one to write down.
Well, because when you cancel your need to be right,
Am I willing to be wrong? Ask yourself. Check in. And you notice how your breath stopped. Keep your breath moving during that.
yeah.
So everyone try this at wherever you are watching. I cancel my need to be right.
I cancel my need to be right.
I allow for things to be what they actually are.
Allow for things to be what they actually are.
And if that includes me being wrong, I allow for me to be wrong.
What he said.
And then what we can do is we can move into a position. You don't have to use those exact words, but that's the sentiment, right? It's
That was a long one.
It's to soften.
Right. So say that last part again.
If it means that I'm wrong, I'm willing to be wrong.
If it means I'm wrong, I'm willing to be wrong. Okay.
And here's a summary. Here's an easy way to say it. It's when we are faced with the truth, the actual truth, capital T truth, after having believed something else was true, there's going to be pain associated with seeing the truth. By doing this practice, by breathing, allowing our emotions to be felt, we're saying, I'm willing to feel. And by allowing our perceptions to be corrected, we're saying, I'm willing to be wrong. I'm willing to allow the truth to come up and feel the pain that might be associated with it while I breathe through this. And on the other side of that, every single time will come inspiration.
Every single time.
Every single time you will receive inspiration, because as you let go of, right, as I let go of this being blue, and I have this awakening of, oh my gosh, this is tan. I have this opening, right? I'm open to new information. I'm open to new
That's
insights.
the key. That's the key right there.
It's the key.
So
and just
Mark,
if you repeat those three things again and again and again, you will find that your level of peace will go up, 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 up. And by letting your peace go up, 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 you will be the peace in the world that we so need today.
got to ring the bell on that one, because who cannot agree with that? We need tons of peace right now, and it starts within. You can't contribute something either you don't know you have, or you don't have. So either way you slice it, it starts within. I believe in the IN words: internal, instinct, intuitiveness. All of those things lead us first to ourselves before it leads us outside to help other people other than ourselves. So pay attention to the IN words, everybody, in these tumultuous times. So Mark, is it optimal being live? Am I getting that right?
Yes, optimal being live.
Okay, LIVE. And
L-I-V-E.
and Mark, if you could, we have about 5 more minutes. Afterwards, while I'm closing the show, if you could go into the comments on the Bathrobe Moments page and leave all of the connectors, that would be really great. I know you have. So recap for us what's going on. I heard you say earlier that you guys meet every day. What does that look like? How do people get into that? A lot of people are at home. They need something to show up for. So tell them about that and how they can become a part.
So there's actually a really cool thing we're kicking off. We have, so the Optimal Being program, we meet weekly, and we have daily sessions and things. So people who have signed up for it. So if you go to optimalbeing.live and you're interested, our core program it's on there, and it has our full video curriculum, and it's got group coaching and et cetera. But one of the things that, two other things we're kicking off. Tonight, we kick off a live event. We're doing three a week, and we have speakers. And Loren, actually, it'd be great to have you speak at one of them. And they're going to be Thursday, I think Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays. There'll be 3 speakers with breakout sessions. It's absolutely free. So live event, absolutely free. And I'll put the URL in the comments. It's powerful-u.com. And it's a community of leaders and thought leaders from around the world, actually, who have said, hey, we're going to come and donate our time to support people during this particular time. In addition, we just launched yesterday live coaching for free.
Wow.
So we've got people who are paid $500 to $2,000 a session, and they're giving free live coaching
Wow.
Online on Facebook, and again, you can find out more about it at the Powerful You Facebook page. And Powerful You is an organization that we're involved in, we're strongly partnered in, we believe in, and especially right now to join all these thought leaders together and coaches and mentors at a time when it's needed most. We want to make that available. And the live portion, obviously someone has to give a video release and stuff, but the live portion of coaching, it allows you to get support, but it also supports other people who watch and get to experience it with you. Because if you're feeling it, chances are somebody else is too.
Awesome.
And then the last thing we're doing, we've got this in the wake of chaos.com. There's a cool video we launched recently, and we're doing a free, there's $100 value or so, but it's a 5-week program. And if someone doesn't have the money, they can pay whatever they want, and they can come for free if they want. So that's, and there's a free ebook out there at inthewakeofchaos.com.
Awesome. I can't thank you enough for showing up today and dropping off these great, great, great opportunities. And that's what they are. And you guys, every day I ask people to leave their connectors inside the comments. I encourage people to reach out to our guests and continue the dialogue. And I don't know if you do it or not, but today I am sending out an even greater call to action, and I am pretty much imploring you to make use of these opportunities, because we are on one side of this thing, and we are going to get to the other side of this thing. And our question should be now, what version of myself do I want to take to the other side? It's time we begin thinking about what it's going to be like. What kind of world do we want to live in? What kind of nation do we want to represent and be a part of? And are we going to be, this is a chance to really reach for the ER in all things. Okay, before the pandemic, were you nice? Well, guess what? As a result of being a part of it, you can still become nicer. Were you smart? Learn something about yourself and then proclaim at the other side, I am smarter. The ER is available. It is what keeps us vested, and it's what keeps us breathing. Just to recap, the 3 strategies: breathe, acknowledge your feelings, and then cancel the need to be right and replace it with the question, am I willing to be wrong? Try it. You just never know. Everything right now, again, is physical, physical, physical. Wash your hands 20 seconds, many, many times. But what about what we need to do to make sure that we don't let our emotions hijack our experiences every day? So I'm so grateful. Mark, if you had to have a Jerry Springer final thought, what would it be?
We would have a world that is completely at peace if each one of us put ourselves into a position where we could be in response to rather than react. And use these 3 principles to support you in being response to your world, the people in your life, and
That's
yourself,
a big one.
and yourself.
Yeah, right. Responding requires some thought behind it. Something that's a planned thing. Reaction, that's why it's called knee jerk.
Well,
Yes.
and all of us, every one of us, every one of you has an interrupt. So before you react, there's an interrupt. There's something in your system where you feel a little tension. You feel something. It's like at that moment, breathe. Take a few breaths, relax. Get into
Absolutely.
a place where your feelings are coming up. Allow yourself to see the situation maybe a little differently, let go of attachment to the way that you needed it to be, allow things to be corrected in your mind so that you can be more present.
Absolutely. Mark Haddis from Journey's Dream and Optimal Being Live. Thank you so much for everything you brought to the table today. Again, everybody, tonight there's a free event and all kinds of great resources that Mark has made available to you. Some are do what you can, take what you can. Some are just absolutely free. Take advantage of them, right? There are no excuses, only opportunities. Remember that. There are no mistakes, only blessings and miracles in the making. So let's help each other. And I'll see you all on the other side. Mark Pettis, have a blessed day, and please continue being the blessing you are. We love you.
Thanks, Loren.
Thank you so much. And
Thanks,
call me. I
everybody.
will contribute whenever you need me for the thing you mentioned earlier.
Okay, awesome.
Okay. All right.
Great.
Have a great day. God bless. Okay, everybody. Here we go. It is time to wait a minute. It is time to get our day started. To get out there and do what it is we do. Love up on everyone you can. But remember, in order to be your best version, you must first start with the best version, which is you'll find in the nearest mirror. So head there if you haven't already today. Tell that person I love you, I honor you, I respect you, and then share it with someone else. And let's see what we can do to help this world heal. Have a great day. God bless you.